You guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. My name is Madison. Today's video, as you guys see from the title, is going to be a Q&A. I just woke up, kind of started getting ready for the day. I mean, it's pretty late in the morning, but my days have been starting a little bit later now that I have a newborn. He is actually like just down for his first nap of the day. Typically he wakes up, gets hit like fresh diaper, bottle, and then he goes right back to sleep for a couple hours. His mornings are like the best time. I feel like he's like in the best mood. He's so happy. And then he always takes his best, longest nap of the day. So we're gonna try to do this Q&A while he naps. But just getting ready for the day. Honestly, this is kind of what I look like most days. I just like wear my nursing bra all day because it's like annoying to have to keep taking my shirt off since I do nurse him or pump for most of the day, and I'll answer some like breastfeeding questions in today's video. But yeah, this is kind of what I look like. I just like toss my hair up and I don't wear makeup. I'm just gonna put on a little bit of moisturizer. I've been using this Primally Pure clarifying cream moisturizer. It's so good. It smells really good, and I don't know, I just have been really liking this one. I feel like it just makes my skin feel really soft throughout the day. And I talked about this in my birth story video if you guys want to go watch that, but my skin has been like kind of freaking out. I feel like ever since giving birth. Like it looks fine on camera right now, but I have been having a lot of texture, random pimples popping up, and like blackheads I've been noticing more of than usual. I feel like my pores are just like clogged. I don't know if it's like a hormonal thing or what, but just trying to take extra care of my skin these days. And then I literally just put on chapstick, and that is my postpartum look these days. Oh, the postpartum smell has been real too. TMI, sorry, but I've always heard that like you get really stinky when you're postpartum, and it's so true. I've been using this Primally Pure charcoal deodorant as well. Just gotta stay fresh because it is hard these days to smell good. I can shower twice a day. It literally does not matter. It must just be like all the hormonal changes going on in my body, but yeah, your girl needs to constantly reapply deodorant. I also just brushed my teeth a minute ago. Didn't feel like I had to vlog that part of my morning, but I have been using this new leave-in toothbrush, which I feel like you guys have probably seen. I've been seeing a bunch of people using it, and I was really excited to try it out for myself, and I'm really excited to be partnering with them on today's video. If you guys haven't heard of leave-in, definitely check them out. This is their electric toothbrush that I'm obsessed with. Also, just like how like sleek, cute, and lightweight it looks. I feel like it's really nice to have a toothbrush that doesn't look horrible if you have it sitting out in your bathroom, so I love how sleek this one is. So this is the Leave-In Wave electric toothbrush. It has 60-degree oscillation features along with different vibrations. So good. I feel like this actually makes my teeth feel so clean after I use it. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but during pregnancy, like it can be really hard to keep up good dental hygiene. I don't know if it's just like with all the hormones or what. I think baby just like sucks all the vitamins out of your system, and that can wreak a lot of havoc on your body, including your teeth and like your dental hygiene. So it was really important for me during pregnancy to maintain really good dental hygiene, to go to the dentist, to floss every day, and to make sure that I'm using a really good electric toothbrush. So this Leave-In electric toothbrush was my favorite, and of course now that I'm postpartum, I still want to be taking care of myself, so it's really important to me to have a toothbrush that I like. This is the toothbrush that I was using, but I feel like it just didn't get my teeth as clean. It only vibrated. It didn't have the oscillation that the Leave-In toothbrush has. Also, I love how much smaller, more lightweight, sleeker the Leave-In toothbrush is. I feel like the Leave-In toothbrush just like does all the work for you since it vibrates and oscillates, and there's also different levels that you can pick from. There's 3 different settings at 10 different levels that you can adjust while you're brushing your teeth so that you get the best possible clean. I also love that it comes with 3 different heads, one for gum care, one for super clean, and one for ultra whitening as well. So you can kind of switch it up depending on what your needs are. You can see here a huge difference between the way that the Leave-In toothbrush vibrates and oscillates, whereas my previous toothbrush that I used really doesn't do nearly as much. So you can imagine how much more efficient the Leave-In toothbrush is on your teeth. The Leave-In toothbrush is also really easy to clean because there's no gaps. You can run it under water. It doesn't get like nasty gunk inside like my old toothbrush did. It stays clean all the time. And there's no bulky charging setup. It just comes with a cord that you plug in just like you would your phone. I'm getting a more thorough overall clean thanks to the oscillation and vibration from this Leave-In toothbrush. I just feel like my teeth have been looking shinier, whiter, and feel cleaner. If you guys are interested in checking out the Leave-In Wave, I will have the link down in the description box below. Okay. put on a shirt for the sake of this video. Still keeping the hair up though. Little man is taking a nap like right in front of me. Hopefully he'll stay asleep so we can do this, otherwise I'll have to grab him. Yeah, I just wanted to sit down and just do a little like Q&A. I asked you guys to send in some questions over on Instagram and you guys sent in so many that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make a YouTube video out of it. I have been answering a lot of your questions over on Instagram for the past couple weeks, so if you guys don't follow me, I'll have my Instagram handle on the screen. But I basically just told you guys to ask whatever you want about like pregnancy, baby, birth, postpartum, our routine with a newborn baby, like any and all of that. And you guys sent in so many good questions, so thought I would just sit down and we could just chat about it all. If I'm honest, our routine right now is literally try to rest as much as possible. Basically a 2-week-old baby, all they do is sleep and eat. So he sleeps for 2 hours, wakes up and eats, maybe is awake for like 30 minutes, sleeps for 2 hours, wakes up and eats. And so our entire day is kind of just like revolving around him and his schedule, making sure that he's feeding and sleeping. Eventually I would love to film some like day in the life or some vlogs, because I know that's kind of what you guys love and that's what I love filming. But right now, our days, literally, we just try to get as much sleep as we can because he is waking up every 2 hours. So in the middle of the night, I'm up every 2 hours with him. Kyle and I have been trying to do like a shift. So Kyle will do like the night shift and I'll do like the middle of the night, like he'll do like 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. I'll do 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. type thing. But we kind of just have been like winging it, trying to figure out what works for us. He is a newborn, so he's not sleeping very much at night. Unfortunately, his days and nights are kind of mixed up. He sleeps most of the day, but he is a hungry guy. He wakes up every 2 hours no matter what to eat, whether that's daytime or nighttime. And with him being so small and he was born early, if you guys haven't seen my birth story vlog, go watch that. He was born early, so he's a very tiny guy. We had to make sure that we were waking him to feed him every 2 to 3 hours. So that's kind of like the schedule that he's on now, and he wakes up at like 2 hour mark on the dot, whether it's daytime or nighttime, to feed. So yeah, it has been helping that like Kyle and I will take some shifts so that the other person can sleep, but we're still not getting great sleep because when it's like our shift with him, he's up every hour or every couple hours, and then like it starts over once we put him down. You get like an hour or two to try to go to sleep before you're back up with him. So yeah, we're both very tired over here, maybe getting like 4-hour stretches at night, but you kind of get used to it and you just make it work because you have a little tiny human that you need to take care of, and you just learn to survive on very little sleep. So eventually, once we kind of get into more of a routine, I would love to film like some vlogs, some days in the life, but right now there's not much to show besides the fact that we are feeding him and then he sleeps, feeding him and then he sleeps. And right now Kyle's home with me, thank God. I'm so grateful. I could not do this alone. Like, shout out to all you single moms, or just shout out to moms who husbands didn't get a paternity leave. I don't know how you did it. I would not have been able to do this by myself. It's so nice to have a partner in this, someone who can help out with feedings, and just with like watching them, because they literally need your constant 24/7 attention. So it's really nice to have a partner. So Kyle's been home with me, and we've kind of just been like taking it easy. It was the first 2 weeks were a whirlwind trying to get used to this new schedule, because before you have a baby, you're used to being able to do whatever you want, go wherever you want, leave the room whenever you want, go to the bathroom whenever you want, take a shower whenever you want. And that's just like not how it is when you have a newborn. They don't like to be set down. They like to be held 24/7. So if you're alone with them, it can be like really overwhelming. You're like, I literally can barely set this baby down to go do anything. But you do get used to it pretty fast, and we kind of have like a good system going now. Not to mention like pumping and breastfeeding and all of that. We'll just like go ahead and dive into this because I know you guys had some questions about that. But yeah, vlogs will come once we're on like a little bit, maybe more of a consistent schedule or routine. I don't know if or when that's gonna happen anytime soon, but we'll see. So like I said, I did already touch on my whole like birth experience. I filmed a whole video, all like the crazy details of that. If you guys are interested, I'll have that linked on the screen, or it's just like my last video if you guys want to go watch it. I explained like every single thing that happened that led up to his birth. It was such a crazy night. Still can't believe it. But it was honestly like the best birth experience. I'm very grateful and very lucky to be able to say that. I know not a lot of women can. So yeah, if you guys are curious about the labor and delivery experience, go watch that video. So the first question was labor better or worse than you expected? And she said, I'm pregnant and already panicking. Well, first of all, don't panic. There's no point. I feel like a lot of people asked me throughout my pregnancy, like, are you nervous? Are you scared about giving birth? And I just felt like there was no point in even being nervous about birth because it's inevitable. It's something that's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to go through it. And it's something that our bodies were made for as a woman. This is something that I was born to do. I just didn't feel like being nervous and scared would have done me any good. So I tried my best to not really think about it, honestly. I tried my best just to go throughout my pregnancy knowing that my birth was gonna be what it was. It's my story, my journey. It's different than everyone else's. I know that it's easy to kind of like compare to other people, but there's no point in doing that either. I'm sure that your birth experience will be great. It was the best day of my life and I wish I could relive it like 100 times over. Like I said, I'm just very grateful for a positive experience. I prayed for a joyful, fun labor and delivery experience, like one that I could look back on fondly and not be like traumatized by. And I'm very, very grateful to say that that's what I got. So I feel like labor was a lot better than I expected. What is different about postpartum than you expected? I did not expect postpartum to be so hard. I always knew that baby blues were a thing and postpartum depression, anxiety is really common, and I kind of mentally prepared to have some sort of postpartum baby blues just because I myself struggle with anxiety, not pregnant or postpartum, but the postpartum anxiety hit me really, really bad a couple days after giving birth, and I talked about this in my birth experience video as well. You have to remember, like, your hormones are literally taking such a dive after birth that of course you're not going to feel like your normal self. There's so much going on within your body that I tried to remember that. I tried to remind myself that. It's easier said than done, but I tried to give myself grace and remember, like, this is not forever. This is just temporary. Your body just went through a huge, huge change. You just lost a part of yourself. My placenta was an organ that was a part of my body I just lost. And that can bring a lot of hormone changes, and it's just crazy what women go through. So if you're going through postpartum depression or anxiety, just know it's completely normal. I would say mine wasn't as much depression as it was just like anxiety. I feel like the first week when you bring your newborn home, it's such like a shock to your entire system because your entire life is just flipped upside down. I mean, like I said before, it's like you now have someone that you have to watch 24/7. And when they say it takes a village, I truly believe that because I could not do this without Kyle, without my family, without my friends, all of my mom friends. I've been texting daily, like, is it normal to feel this way? And they're all reassuring me that it's normal. And yeah, it's just a complete shock. And so it can be really, really overwhelming to go through. And on top of that, you're going through all these physical changes, not just like the physical healing that you're going through post-birth, but the hormonal changes that bring on a lot of emotions. And my emotions were like up and down those first few days. Honestly, like the first 2 weeks, I did not feel like myself. I was just kind of like operating at like a really anxious level all day, every day, and very emotional. Like I was crying all day, every day. I'm not a big crier. Like Kyle was like, are you okay? Because I was crying every single day, happy tears, sad tears, like it didn't matter. I would just cry over everything. And while I knew that this was all normal and I was telling myself like this is normal, it's so like textbook postpartum to be emotional. It's still really, really hard to go through even though you know it's all normal and temporary. So if you're going through postpartum, just know it is really hard. No, you're not crazy for feeling that way. It's just like unlike anything I've ever experienced before. But I will say once I got to like that 2-week point, I think I felt kind of like my emotions evening out a little bit, maybe like my hormone levels evening out a little bit. And I've started to feel more and more like myself every single day. I'm only 2.5 weeks postpartum, so don't get me wrong, I'm still very much in the thick of it and I'm working through my emotions every single day. It's really hard to kind of explain the baby blues if you've never had them. You're so happy for the most part, but there's also a part of you that is like sad and you can't really explain it. And I think that's just because your life is completely different at the flip of a switch. Like the second you bring that newborn home, the life that you knew is just like no longer the same. Of course, I remind myself it's all temporary and the life that I knew is still there and it will eventually normalize again. But yeah, just having this like huge responsibility now and this complete change in routine. Like if you're a routine person and you're used to your normal daily schedule or routine or getting a certain amount of hours of sleep, being productive throughout the day, like just throw it all out the window because you now are like catering to a tiny little human and your entire schedule, your entire day and routine revolves around them. Again, that's something that also gets easier just being a couple weeks in, now that we know him better, and we can kind of like predict a little bit more like what he needs. Our routine has become a little bit more stable, not as like unexpected, and we're feeling a little bit more confident like bringing him outside of the house, going places. But yeah, it's just like all such a big learning curve. And yeah, to answer the question, postpartum has been a lot harder than I expected. And I feel like there's so many mom accounts on Instagram that glamorize postpartum. I don't know if it's like their experience is truly that positive and wonderful or if they are just doing it for the content, but I had to like unfollow so many accounts and honestly just like stop scrolling on social media for the last couple weeks because it was really, really bad for my mental health. Every time I'd go on there, my anxiety would spike because I would see all these like 7-day postpartum moms posting like cute little Instagram reels of them in their workout outfits and going shopping with their babies and just like thriving. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm sitting here like struggling just to get through the day with my newborn, struggling just to like get used to this new normal, let alone being productive and going along with my like routine that I had pre-baby. I don't know, I just had to stop comparing myself to others. I had to stop scrolling social media. So if you're also in the thick of postpartum, don't be afraid to like delete Instagram. Don't compare yourself to other people. If you are having a positive, wonderful postpartum experience, feeling back to yourself right away, that's amazing. I just like can't relate to that experience. I am still trying to kind of like see past the fog of this like postpartum. My emotions are still a little bit all over the place. I am still getting to know Jack, our tiny little baby. I'm still getting to know myself as a new mom. Kyle and I are, we have like a new dynamic now. We have a completely new relationship as husband and wife. It used to just be like all about us and, we could spend like unlimited time together. And now we have someone else that needs both of our attention and we're trying to figure out how to be teammates and partners and taking care of a human. And that can take a toll on your relationship and it can also strengthen your relationship. So I feel like for us, it's completely changed our relationship. And that's also something that can be hard to accept. But I feel like further along that we've gotten, it's something that's like beautiful if you think about it, because we're not just husband and wife anymore, we're mom and dad now. And, we're taking care of our son together. So it's really beautiful, but yeah, the past couple weeks have definitely been hard. Where did the name Jack William come from? So if you didn't watch my last video, I announced his name. His name is Jack, middle name William. So the name Jack has been my #1 boy name for years. Like if you know me personally, I've always said my first baby, if he's a boy, would be Jack. I think I first heard that name when I was like a teenager, like in high school, and I always told everybody like that's me, my baby name, and it's just stuck. Like for over 10 years I've been saying that. And yeah, the second that we got pregnant and found out it was a boy, Kyle pretty much knew it was coming because our whole relationship I've always told him Jack was my #1 boy name, and he's always liked it too, so he's always been on board. He knew it was coming and he was down for it. We talked about a few other boy names, but just like none of them really stuck, none of them really compared. And then William is Kyle's dad's name. So if you are new or if you haven't been following, Kyle's dad recently passed away just a couple months ago. And the most important piece that I should mention about Jack's birth, and this is something I actually forgot to mention in my birth story video, which I can't believe I left out, but Jack was actually born on Kyle's dad's birthday, which was such a blessing from up above, such a blessing from his dad. We truly believe that Jack was sent to us from his dad, from heaven or wherever he is, because Jack was born 3 weeks early, totally unexpected. We always said oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if he was born on Kyle's dad's birthday, but never really expected it because that would have been so early. But he came just a few hours after midnight on Kyle's dad's birthday. So that was really, really special. Kyle's dad passed away in May. So for Jack to come just like a couple months later on his birthday was amazing and special and surreal. We all still can't believe it. It has just been like the most emotional past couple weeks. And yeah, so William is after Kyle's dad, which obviously he was one of the most amazing men I've ever known in my entire life. He was more to me than just a father-in-law. He was a second dad to me, just like super important to me. And so it was really important to Kyle and I, and I'm like getting emotional. I literally cry every single day, you guys. It was really important for Kyle and I to incorporate his name in Jack's name because he means so much to us, and we will forever tell Jack about his grandpa William and make sure that he knows him and knows how much that he loved him. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next question. Are you ever thinking about going back to teaching? So switching gears a little bit, I know I get asked this a lot if I'm going back to teaching, and I think I will one day. I think I told Kyle the other day, I actually am like really sad. Like, it's the beginning of the school year, which is my favorite time. I keep seeing all these people go back to school and it just looks so fun. So I don't know. It's like every single year I go back and forth on it. I love being home with him and I foresee myself being a stay-at-home mom, but I don't know how long, so we'll just kind of see. I told Kyle we'll play it like year by year. Who knows, next year I might go back to the classroom, maybe in a couple years, but I definitely do see myself teaching again because I just love it, and every time I take a break from teaching I miss it. So yeah, I definitely see myself going back to the classroom eventually. Do you have afterbirth contractions? Yes. Oh my gosh, this was something I feel like no one really told me about. I had heard that it can be like uncomfortable after labor because they have to like press on your stomach and like get all the blood out. Sorry if that's like TMI, but what I didn't know is that you literally have contractions for like the next couple days. At least most people do. I guess not everybody, but I did. And so yeah, especially if you're breastfeeding, I think something about like the hormones that's released, like the oxytocin that's released, causes your uterus to contract, which helps aid in getting like all that extra blood out. And yeah, they literally feel like labor contractions. It is so crazy. Like, I remember I was like breastfeeding Jack like the day after I gave birth, and I was sitting in bed having to like breathe through contractions. Kyle was sitting next to me and he was like watching me have to like breathe through these contractions because they were so intense. They were only intense for like a day, and I feel like by the second day, third day, they weren't as intense. But yeah, super, super weird. What were the top 3 most useful things you packed in your hospital bag? Okay, so I have to be one of those girls and admit that you really don't need to pack that much in your hospital bag. If you guys watched my hospital bag video I posted over on Instagram, I packed a lot of stuff. Probably did not need to pack nearly as much stuff as I did. Honestly, like the things that I really used from my bag was my labor and delivery gown from the brand Kindred Bravely. I got just like a cute little like satin labor and delivery gown. It has like Velcro on the back so you can get your epidural. Just like really cute and comfy, better than wearing their gowns that they give you at the hospital. I also wore like grippy socks from Kindred Bravely along with their robe. So those were like the 3 things that I had on. I didn't change. I wasn't going through clothes and outfits when I was there. I literally just stayed in a robe, my gown, and socks. Oh, I also brought my Boppy pillow, which a lot of people told me, oh, you don't need that, but that was actually really nice to have. I had my Boppy pillow on my lap every single day in the hospital. It just helped with holding him, breastfeeding him. Also, if people came to visit, they would take the Boppy pillow to hold him. So yeah, I definitely recommend bringing some sort of like Boppy pillow or some sort of like breastfeeding pillow. Also, I'm really glad that we brought different outfits for Jack. We brought like 3 or 4 different outfits, and I thought that was too much, but we ended up going through all of them because he would like spit up or pee, or we wanted to take pictures in like a couple of the different outfits. So yeah, just bring like a lot of different outfit options for baby. I feel like that's always good to have. How is breastfeeding going? So I feel like this is always kind of like a touchy subject sometimes for women to talk about, just because, and now that I've gone through it, I've realized how hard it is. I did not realize how stressful breastfeeding would be. Not just breastfeeding, but just like feeding your baby in general. There's a lot of opinions out there about breastfeeding versus pumping versus formula. I truly believe like fed is best. I will 100% stand by that. I, however, always dreamed of breastfeeding, wanted to breastfeed, at least like try, and I tried not to put too much pressure on myself, especially whenever I was pregnant, because I just didn't know what was going to happen. You never know if your baby's going to have feeding problems, latch problems, if you're going to have supply problems, so I tried to keep it really low pressure. He is a really good feeder. Breastfeeding has been going good. He has a really good latch, like right away. He latched, which they said, especially considering he was so young and so little at 37 weeks. They said sometimes when they come out early, they can be a little bit more immature and not latch right away, or it just takes them a little bit longer to learn to breastfeed. But he came out like ready to feed, and he's done a really, really great job. Honestly, for me, it's been more trying to figure out what I enjoy and what I like, because breastfeeding, if you breastfed before, you know, it is a full-time job and it is a whole extra pressure on top of already just taking care of a newborn. And so that's been hard for me to accept, especially because my postpartum anxiety was pretty bad those first couple weeks. It was really hard to go through that, and on top of that put myself through extra stress. Kind of hard to explain, especially if you've like never gone through it. Breastfeeding is like a beautiful experience and I love it, but it's definitely really, really hard mentally. It takes a lot of time. On top of that, when we were in the hospital, we felt like he just like wasn't getting enough from me exclusively breastfeeding. So we actually made the decision a couple days in at the hospital to give him a bottle of formula just to see, because we felt like he was always kind of like still hungry after a breastfeed. He would be like a little irritable. So we were like, why don't we give him a bottle of formula and just see if that like makes him happy? And sure enough, we gave him a bottle of formula and he was instantly happier. So we just kind of realized like, okay, we don't know how much he's getting from me just exclusively breastfeeding. So we did supplement with formula the first few days, which if you are a new mom, do not let anyone make you feel bad for giving your baby formula. I don't care what people say about breast milk being better for a baby. Fed is best, and your mental health matters so much more. A happy mom equals a happy baby. So just take care of yourself, take care of your baby, don't worry about outside opinions. And I had to tell myself that too. And at the end of the day, I was really, really happy with giving him formula those first few days, because I saw how content it made him, and he was fed and healthy and happy, and that's at the end of the day all I cared about. But if you guys didn't know this, your milk comes in a few days later after giving birth. So I think that's why he just wasn't getting enough from me, just like from my colostrum, which is what you produce before your milk comes in. So once my milk came in, it was like 5 days later, my milk came in, and I did continue to exclusively breastfeed, but I still just like had that feeling like I would breastfeed for 30-45 minutes at a time, like a session, and I felt like he would still be fussy 30 minutes later or an hour later. I felt like he just wasn't getting enough, and it was taking so much time from me. I felt like I was on the couch with him all day long, feeding, which newborns cluster feed anyway. They basically just want to eat 24/7, at least like every hour or two. And so for me to feed him and then still feel like he was hungry after was really hard on my mental health as well. So what we started doing was pumping. So, and I say we, but like we, because Kyle ended up helping with like the feeding process, I started pumping, which I enjoyed because I liked seeing how much milk was in a bottle, and that way I could see how much he was getting. So when like babies are born, they take like 1 ounce, and then they eventually go up to 2 ounces and then 3 ounces. It kind of goes by like each week that they are old. I noticed that after we would give him a bottle, he would be so much more like content and full. So what we've been doing now, it's been 2.5 weeks, I am pumping throughout the day, pretty much exclusively pumping, and we're giving him bottles throughout the day, and then I breastfeed at night. So whenever he wakes up in the middle of the night, sometimes I'll give him a bottle if I feel like he's not getting enough from me, but usually I'll just like breastfeed him in the middle of the night. Again, just going with the flow, like no pressure, no expectations on myself. I'm just still trying to figure it out. We're only a couple weeks in, still trying to like get to know him and figure out like how much he needs. And babies change so much every single day. He's changing and growing. His needs are changing. So yeah, I'm kind of just trying to figure it out as I go. So I definitely feel kind of like vulnerable talking about all of that online. But again, I think more women need to talk about postpartum and talk about breastfeeding, just because it is really, really hard, and I feel like it would have made me feel better if I heard more women talk about this previously. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing right now. I've been pumping during the day and then breastfeeding at night. Did you set time aside for you and Kyle and baby to bond, or have you been surrounded by family? When did you let your family visit? A lot of like questions on visitors. So this is also something different than I expected. When I was pregnant, I kind of had the mindset of like, oh, anybody can come, like whatever. People can come visit the day he's born, the next day, I don't care. And that quickly changed once we had him. Kyle and I both felt comfortable having our immediate family come visit at the hospital, but that was pretty much it. So like Kyle's immediate family and my immediate family came and visited that like first day that he was born. But honestly, ever since then, we have just been me, Kyle, and baby at home. Kyle's mom has come a few times. My parents came over once, but other than that, we haven't had any other visitors. We are just kind of like waiting. I don't know why. We both kind of surprised ourselves with how much we felt like we just needed time as a family. It's only been 2.5 weeks. It's not like it's been a few months or anything, but it still just feels so new, so fresh, and we're both just trying to get used to this new schedule. We're both trying to get used to him. And with me kind of like struggling those first couple weeks with my anxiety, I just like didn't want anyone around because I just wasn't feeling my best. So again, if you're postpartum, do not feel pressured to have people come visit you right away. My friends and family have been nothing but supportive and understanding, and they respect our boundaries right now. Not to mention just health-wise, like COVID is spiking right now. We just haven't been wanting a lot of people around him because he's still so new and so teeny tiny. We just want to keep him healthy and safe, and the best way for us to do that is just to keep him kind of just away from people and just in our house. So yeah, we've just been kind of doing what feels right for us, and what feels right for us lately has just been minimizing visitors and just keeping it us three at the house. And I'm sure in a week or two, we'll probably start having a little bit more visitors come see him. What are some newborn essentials that you've been loving? Okay, so the first one is a DockATot lounger, which is what he is in right now. So the DockATot, it's kind of like the Snuggle Me, if you've heard of that. It's just like a cute little baby lounger for them to lay in. They're not technically safe for sleep. He does nap in them during the day, but only when I'm around or like sitting by him, or in the room like watching over him. But he loves it. Like he will sleep in there for hours during the day. He just is always so content in there, and it's so nice just to have somewhere to set him down where he's comfy. We also have a bassinet in here. Don't even get me started on bassinets. Like, babies do not love bassinets. If you have a baby that just like will gladly pass out in a bassinet by themselves during the day or at night, that's amazing. But it has been definitely a challenge getting him used to sleeping in a bassinet. We also have a bassinet by our bed. Newer babies just want to be held. They just want to be loved. They want to be close to you. They don't want to be alone in like a cold bassinet. We swaddle him. We do like everything we can to try to get him used to it. And he will sleep like maybe an hour or two like stretch in a bassinet. But yeah, it's definitely been hard getting him used to sleeping in a bassinet. He either wants to sleep on us or in his DockATot lounger. So that's just how he is. Every baby's different. But yeah, we love the DockATot. I also love our Hatch sound machine. So we have the Hatch, it's like a night light and sound machine. So that's really, really nice for nighttime and for like nighttime feedings and diaper changes, because we just have like a dim night light that comes on, and then we have his white noise that plays all throughout the night right next to his bassinet. And the third thing is a wipe warmer. A lot of people also told me that this wasn't necessary, but he absolutely hates diaper changes more than anything, especially when you put a cold wipe on him, which like I don't blame him. I wouldn't want that either, especially in the middle of the night. So we have a wipe warmer that makes me feel so much better using like a nice warm wipe on him, and I swear he cries a lot less when we use that versus a cold one. A lot of questions just like asking how I'm doing mentally. Like I said, it's been harder than I thought, but I'm definitely feeling better every day. I feel like as I'm getting to know him better, getting to know his needs better, feeling more confident in myself with him, feeling more confident just like as a mom, as I'm taking on this new role, every day is getting better. I still have my moments, trust me, but overall, definitely getting better each day. Did you get an epidural? Yes, and I talk about this in my birth story as well if you guys want to go watch that. But I got the epidural. I always knew I wanted an epidural, and I loved it. It definitely helped make my delivery experience much more positive. How many kids do you guys want, and what kind of age gap do you want? It's really hard to think about that right now because your first baby is like such a doozy. It's hard to imagine having more than one, but Kyle and I always said 2 would probably be like our preference, obviously just like whatever we're blessed with. But yeah, we kind of envision ourselves having 2, maybe like a couple years apart. So we'll see. What's your favorite part of being a mom? Honestly, this is like such a hard question to answer. I feel like being a mom is just so special in so many ways. It like makes me want to cry just thinking about it. But yeah, just knowing that like he's mine, he's my son, and I'm his mom, and it's just like a special bond that you can't even explain. But also just thinking about like all the things that we're going to get to do together in the future, and just all the experiences we're gonna have together, and the life that I can't wait to share with him, and just like watch him grow up into the person he's gonna be. It's just, I don't know, it's so exciting, and I just love him so much already. I just cannot wait for everything. I can't wait to like watch him grow, but it's like bittersweet at the same time. I want him to stay my sweet little newborn baby. But yeah, I don't know, I just love him. I love the cuddles. It's just like a feeling that you can't even explain until you have your own child. But yeah, everything about it, I love it. What was the best part about pregnancy? Pregnancy seriously feels just like a blip in time. It's so weird. I like don't even remember being pregnant. I feel like it flew by, like the fastest 9 months of my entire life. But it was like such a dream at the same time. I loved being pregnant. I would have to say my favorite part was definitely feeling his kicks and like movements inside of me, which now looking back and knowing like that was him the whole time is so crazy. I just like, I still cannot wrap my head around pregnancy and birth. The fact that like he was in my stomach just a couple weeks ago, cannot wrap my head around it. But yeah, definitely like feeling him every single day. I was just so happy when I was pregnant. I was like my best self, I would say, when I was pregnant. I just loved every single part of it. And yeah, I kind of miss it. I miss the belly, I miss the bump, and honestly, like I would be pregnant like 100 times again. I love being pregnant. Was Kyle granted paternity leave? Yes, and thank goodness. Again, could not imagine doing this without him. I have so much respect for women who are single parents or don't have their husband home with them, but he was lucky enough to get 6 weeks. So we are 2.5 weeks in. Could not do it without him. He literally has been my rock, especially when I was kind of like struggling those first couple weeks. He like kept me together, kept me going. It was like, gave me daily pep talks. And not to mention he takes on half the responsibilities with the baby. So it's really, really nice just to have that partner in the house. And yeah, he gets 6 weeks, which is so nice because if you guys know, my husband's a doctor. He has a really crazy busy schedule, and it is definitely going to be a huge adjustment whenever he goes back to work, which we'll like cross that bridge when we come to it. But I wasn't expecting him to get like 2 weeks, let alone 6 weeks. So when we found out that like his request for 6 weeks was approved, we were both just so excited. And it's just been such a blessing to have him home with us. So yeah, so grateful. How is Jack doing since you found out about his defect? So I haven't talked about this much, I feel like, in recent videos or even on Instagram. If you guys are new around here, or if you just kind of like haven't watched a lot of my videos recently, we found out that at Jack's 20-week anatomy scan that he has a condition called CPAM. So he has a benign mass in his left lung that we monitored my entire pregnancy. My pregnancy was considered high risk, so I got bi-weekly ultrasounds, and we just monitored that mass super, super closely. And we're so lucky. It feels weird to say like, oh, we're lucky, but although it is horrible that he was diagnosed with that, we still got like best case scenario with that diagnosis because his mass stayed really, really small, but just what you want. His lungs grew big and healthy around it. And so when it came to delivering him, I was able to deliver at my normal hospital. He didn't have to have any NICU time. He was born completely asymptomatic, breathing great, like came out screaming and crying, which is exactly what you want because that means that their lungs are working good. So as far as next steps, we will have to continue to monitor the mass because it is still in there, although it's very small, it's still there. And essentially the mass is harmless right now to him. However, they want to remove the mass because there is a possibility that the mass could cause problems when he's older. So we are talking about the possibility of surgery in a few months. So I try not to think about it because it makes me emotional to even think about bringing my healthy newborn baby in for surgery, especially just with like the thought of them having to like put him under and all that stuff. I like cannot even think about it, and that's probably why I haven't talked about it much on here. But again, that's a bridge we'll cross when we come to it. But thank you for those of you who remembered and have been reaching out and asking about him and asking how he's doing. He's doing great, very healthy. We just had his like 2-week pediatrician appointment today, and he's back up to birth weight, which is like exactly what they want around 2 weeks because they do lose weight after they're born. So he's been eating really good, gaining weight. Yeah, he's doing really good, and I will definitely kind of keep you guys updated on his whole situation, especially once we like go into surgery and stuff like that in a few months. I'll make sure to kind of like document it and keep you guys updated on that. How has sleep been? Has it been easier or harder than you thought? I personally was really tired pregnant, and everyone told me like, oh, like you'll be so glad when you're not pregnant anymore, like you'll sleep so much better with a newborn. I don't really know who's sleeping good with a newborn. I guess some people just get lucky. Like I said, he's waking up every 2 hours to feed, so I'm sleeping like max maybe like 2-hour increments. If Kyle watches him, sometimes he'll let me get like a 4-hour stretch in, but yeah, we're not sleeping great. I am very tired. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if I'm like coming across really tired in this video, but yeah, I'm very, very tired and in desperate need of a nap. But again, you just kind of make it work because you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta be up with the baby, and then like when the sun comes up, it's time to get up and you move on with your day. Trying to just like take naps here and there where we can. We have help. Kyle's mom will come over and like watch him for a little bit and let Kyle and I go nap. But yeah, we know it's temporary at the same time, so I've also been trying not to stress about it, trying not to like stress about getting him on a sleep schedule or routine because he's only 2 weeks old. That's just not gonna happen at this age. All they do is just like sleep, eat. So there's not much of like a routine or schedule that you can get on, but yeah, we're just trying to sleep where we can. Okay, my camera is about to die. He is about to wake up from his nap and I need to feed him. I'm going to stop there with questions. I know there's a few more. If you guys have questions, leave them down below and I will go through comments and reply to some of the questions. Also, always feel free to message me over on Instagram if you guys have any questions or just want to chat. I am really excited to start filming more videos and just kind of like get back into YouTube and work and everything. It feels really good to like do something for me since most of my day is occupied with just taking care of baby. So let me know if you guys have any video requests down below. Like I said, I will definitely start vlogging soon once we get into like a little bit more of a rhythm with him. But other than that, if there's anything else you guys want to see, comment down below. As always, I love and appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.